Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, I've got a new kind of reading for you. What I'm going to do is predictions for the next month, and I'm using astrology and tarot mashed together. So, what I've done is for Trump, I've got his natal chart. And as I've explained on the other channel, I want you to think of this as a watch, right? And it constantly moves and turns. And so you can see what the projection is going to be like over the next 30 days. So on the inside is what's called your natal chart. And that's a chart you're born with. And that is written in stone. And that doesn't change your whole life. On the outside, however, is what's called transiting planets. And I want you to think of this as the watch clicking and clicking by. And as the planet moves around, it changes different things. No different than when the small hand moves around the clock, it changes the time. When it comes by and it swings by, and the big hand then has to move, and you've got the seconds hand going a lot faster. So I want you to think of this as just one big watch. We've frozen it in time, and we're going to use this with tarot cards as a projection of what Trump can have in the next 30 days. Now, to be clear, we all have the same planets, but they're in a little bit different spots because of what other planets it's transiting over, plus what house it's in. And the house will give it a different flavor for each person. So the planets are the same and the tarot cards are the same. It's how they relate to each other is where the difference is. All right. So it's just like for everybody in the same time zone, it's noon. But are you just waking up? Are you eating lunch? Are you just going to bed? Are you just going to work? Right? That noon is different for everyone because it depends on where you are on your clock and your timeline and different things that you're doing. So that's the best way I can explain it. So I've laid out the cards here, and as you can see, everybody, all the planets are bunched together. So we all have this, but depends on where it is. I just did Harry's, and all of his planets are in the dark. All of Trump's planets are up above in the light. So this shows us that the spotlight is on him, the light is on him, versus if all his planets were down here in the dark. All right. And I'm using the ancient tarot astrological clock for this reading. Okay. So what we do is we look at and zodiac goes counterclockwise. So we look at the first house that's activated. And as you can see, all these dark ones under here are not activated with the transiting planets. Okay. So those aren't activated. We don't have any activation until over the horizon. And the first house that's activated is his seventh house. And he has Aquarius in his seventh house. Now, your seventh house is your relationships, most notably your marriage house. But his is Aquarius. He is more married to society than humanity and the outside world than he is to somebody else, right? His partner will always come secondary to his public persona, always. And that's just something you have to deal with. You know, when you think about Melania, who knows? Maybe she never wanted to be the first lady. Too bad. If you want to be married to me, you're going to be the first lady, because I'm going to be out in the public, and that's where my true love is, and that's where he shines as a star. He wants to heal the world, believe it or not. And it's so interesting because all this talk of peace and everything, well, that's showing because Pluto is activated in his seventh house. And here he is. This is his second chance, because judgment is second chances. This is his second chance at being the president. And he is coming in with this 5 of Swords, 5 of Words. You think of all the executive orders that he has signed, all the words that he has said. I'm bringing in tariffs. I'm taking over Canada. I'm taking over Greenland. This is now the Gulf of America. Like, it's all words. And here he is. And here is his second chance at being president. And he is appealing to the people. He wants to heal. He wants to undo some of the things that he wants a second chance at being the star president. And he's doing it with words. And some people might say he's bullying people around. Some people might say he's winning. Fight, fight, fight. Here it is. Even though the planets were at a different location when that happened, this is his battle cry. So this shows me, because this is the first house that is lit up, is his 7th house. And it's hope and healing, his second chance at presidency. And he's doing it all with words. And a lot of people are getting upset, and a lot of people are leaving, but he doesn't care. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. I think he's actually, with this Judgment card, and here he is, the trumpet, right? I actually think he's turning people into fans. A lot of people are giving him a second chance. They're rising up and listening to him. I think that's interesting. The very first house that shows up has a trumpet in it. And words. So for the next 30 days, we can expect more of the same. Nothing there is going to change. I forgot to let you know what his overall cards are. And that is, again, based on the ancient wheel. And what happens is this ancient wheel, because of precession, things kind of have shifted over time. So normally he would be the King of Swords if we're going by today's tropical astrology. But because of precession, it goes back. He's actually the Queen of Cups. He's the Queen of Cups and the 10 of Swords. And you think to yourself, well, he's not emotional, or he's not warm and fuzzy. Well, if you look at this Queen of Cups, she is not either. This Queen of Cups is not happy, and she's not holding a cup. She's holding an urn. So is that her King of Cups that she's holding? Is that her enemy that she's holding? But she's not clinging to it. She's holding it and staring at it like, you're where you deserve to be. This is a very revengeful Queen of Cups. This is Scorpio. A lot of people forget that the Queen of Cups is Scorpio energy. And boy, talk about revengeful. And to Scorpio, death is the best revenge. And they want to make sure that they remember that you're dead. I have a lot of Scorpios in my life. And the 10 of Swords. Isn't this interesting? How many times has he hit rock bottom and has risen up again? You think everyone says, oh, he's been bankrupt. Yeah, but he came back. Oh, he lost the presidency. Yeah, but he came back. Like, he is the master at transformation. You can knock him down, but you can't keep him down. And when he gets back up, you better run. You better run, you better hide, because he's got his revenge coming for you if you knock him down. And look what he's done to some of those. Look how much he's done to undo some of the stuff that Biden did. He's fired what are they called, attorneys, right? That were placed in there by Biden. Like, he's coming for you. Now, I can't imagine what's going to happen to Zelensky, because he has now his eyes on the prize. Okay. Anyways, let's go to the next charming. His next house that's lit up is his 8th house. And I'm telling you, I think these eclipses, so this 8th house is Pisces, which is endings anyways. It's the 12th house it's the 12th zodiac sign, and it's by the moon. And I think this is so fascinating. The sun and the moon cards are together, and we're having a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse in the month of March. And so I think there's going to be big changes in his life. You got Saturn in your 8th with Pisces. Man, something is ending in his life. Something is ending. We have the Magician, which is Mercury, which is communication and e-commerce, but we have Neptune there. And we have the 9 of Cups and the 10 of Cups. Those are all because this is the 2nd and 3rd decan of Pisces. And I think that, as much as he wants to continue his way with words, I think there's going to be something here that trips him up on his words. That somebody's going to find something that he said back in grade 2. I'm just kidding. That's what it almost feels like. Do you remember back in 1985, you sat beside this person and you said this? Like, so what? That was 1985. That's how everybody talked. And who knows what the future is? Who knows who I sit beside on the bus and somebody takes a picture, and in 20 years from now, this guy turns out to be, the next Charles Manson. They go, oh my God, did you see she was sitting beside him on the bus? Like, that drives me wild. It really does. Like, honestly, I think something like that might happen. It could have something to do with some of the, what's it called? The fake charges or whatnot that are against him. Saturn in with these eclipses and the Hanged Man in his 8th house with endings. If something is attempted on him, if something does manifest that's attempted on him, I think he'll survive. I think he'll be really smug about it and survive and go, ta-da. Because I'm not getting that it's really going to put him out. We have the World, which is Saturn in his 8th house. Oh. Let's go on to the next one. I'll see if they match up a little bit. I haven't looked at this ahead of time like I did the other ones. I want this to be a surprise for me as well. So the next house is the 9th house, which is and it's ruled by Aries. But in the 9th house is lawyers and foreign travel and professors and universities and those kind of things. And we have so we have our Aries here, the Emperor, which he is, the Empress, which is Melania, and the High Priestess and the Patience here, the 3 of Wands in his 9th house. I'm wondering if they're going to start some kind of university or school across seas. Because we have to remember she's from Slovenia. And I'm wondering if, oh, look at that. The clock agrees with me. I wonder if he's going to sponsor her for some kind of school or something in Slovenia. It's going to be, here, honey. Why don't you go over there and teach those girls how to dress or something? Because it's in the 9th house, which is far distance travel, like across the sea, and the High Priestess can be a teacher as well of the arcane or whatnot. I'm wondering if she's going to, or maybe she's going to go away for a little while to go visit home. But I think there's something here that I honestly think she's going to start talking about starting some kind of school. and he's going to help her and endorse that for some reason. Perhaps it's a home for Ukrainian people who are fleeing Ukraine. I mean, it's not that far away, but I think he's going to help her get something like that going, some kind of schooling or secure home, something like that. I think that's one of the promises he's made for long before he actually declared that he would run for president again. I did a reading on him, and I said that Melania is not for it, and she will go along with it, but her demands will be listened to this time. And I think that might be part of it. Maybe she wants some kind of legacy out of it, but I don't think it's going to be in the United States. I think it's going to be back in her own hometown. All right. Let's get on to the next one, which is his 10th house, which is Taurus, and he has and this is his midheaven as well. And this is actually, I think he's going to start I really think there's something about them starting some kind of educational system, or there. I'm just really getting that it's going to be, like a money school, or how to. I'm getting that it's like really basics, like getting really back to basics, like getting people farming again, learning about money again. Um, just because it's the 10th house, and that's your career. That is because and he has his midhaven in there, and it's a Taurus, and it's money here. He's got, he always talks about make America great again. I mean, you're not going to deny he's a capitalist, and I think that he wants to teach people that a little bit more, teach people more about business. And I think there might be a concerted effort here, because Taurus is also voice, and this is, the teacher card as well. I think there's going to be some kind of legacy that I'm getting that they want to make. That, perhaps maybe she teaches women about money, and he has as some kind of school. Or I did a reading about Trump's legacy, and I got a lot of flack for it. But I think people will look back, and they will study how he was president. And I said that before he even won. And look at all the things that he's doing, how he's taking charge and whatnot. I think that he is actually going to go down as a legacy, and people will learn from him. And I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm wondering if that has something to do with his eighth house and eclipses. That something in March comes, that there's people talk about him in a way of how he was really good at making money, and perhaps they should study it. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that's wrong, but I'm thinking that that's actually what they want to do, is somehow create some kind of legacy for the both of them, so that their names are not written in stone, that they leave that legacy. All right, so his next house, which is the 11th house, which is in Gemini, which is his sun house. We have Jupiter and Gemini in the 11th house. Now, this is fascinating as well, because the 11th house, as we know, is the public, is society, is the people, is humanity. And it's interesting that the first house that he has activated is what he wants to do. And like I said, he's married to his persona, to how he wants to look in the world. And here we have the 11th house, and that's his sun house, and we have Jupiter in Gemini right now. I think that there's some aspect here that he is actually going to calm a lot of people down. I think that a lot of people are going to see some of the choices that he is making is for the greater good. And here's the piece. I think he will have some success in March, calming some things down and bringing them to peace. Now he's got two things here, right? Because we've got, this might be, both wars are brother wars, both of them. We got Ukraine and Russia, and we've got Israel and Gaza. And yes, they're brothers. They're brothers from a different mother. They're both Semitic people. So they're brothers. Both of them are family arguments and dragging the rest of the world into their family arguments. I think in March, though, because we're just doing a prediction for Trump, I think that one of them, he is going to be successful in getting some kind of peace and moving on. Is it Gaza because we have water here? I know we have the Black Sea in Ukraine as well, but I'm wondering if the only reason I'm saying that is because of the dress here. And there's more concern about mothers and children in Gaza than in Ukraine. It's the young men. So is he going to have some luck in calming that situation down? I think so. I think by the end of March we'll see that. All right, the last house that he has activated, and again, Mars in Cancer in the 12th house. I'm going to tell you right now, he's not getting a lot of hoochie coochie. Mars in Cancer for men is real party pooper. But, oh man. Let's put it this way, because the Tower can bring things down. Like the Tower is the hand of God. And the hand of God, I think, is what saved him from turning his head that quarter of an inch at the last split second. That's a Tower moment. Because the Tower moment can also be a lottery win. It's something that changes your life. And I think there's something here. Either he will be greatly celebrated. I just don't like, because the 12th house is big endings. I just don't like that his crown gets knocked off here. I really don't. And there would be some people celebrating. I wouldn't be one of them. I don't never celebrate anyone's death. That brings really bad juju into your own life. I'll tell you a quick story. So I know somebody, and one of their people that they didn't like, their son died. And they were like, oh, that family deserves it, blah, blah. Within 2 weeks, that lady who was laughing at the other lady, her son died. I'm not kidding you. If I hadn't seen it myself, I wouldn't have believed it. So don't ever do that. I'm hoping it's something good happens. I'm hoping it's like a lottery win or something, and that he's celebrating. But being in the 12th house with the eclipses coming and everything, I think he's. I'm going to say it. This screams to me stroke. Sorry, it does. Cups can be blood to the head. And then, you can't walk. You're in a wheelchair, right? So that's the visions I'm getting. Yeah. So if he manages to get through this March, he has a list that he's going to carry on. If he manages, he'll rise again. I think that there's going to be a real push for peace in the Middle East. I think that him and Melania are going to be working on some kind of school, like, or classes or courses or something. It has something to do with business, and it has something to do with what Melania's pet project is. So whether she does hers overseas and he does his in New York, there's something there. There's something there. Whether it affects Baron or not, it could. It could. So perhaps, they teach him how to teach it, or something like that. So there we go. There's Trump's next 30 days. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I'm really worried that something with his head. Something with his head. It could be a fall. Could be a fall, but you can't even say it's from drinking. He doesn't drink. It could be a fall. Could be a golf ball smacks him in the head, but it could be something very lucky, like he turns his head again. All right, well, that's Trump. Hang in there. I'm going to do Zelensky now, and we'll see how these two are doing. If you enjoy this type of reading, let me know. It's a very long reading, and I don't mind doing it for you, but only if you enjoy it. So I'm going to do Zelensky's, and we'll see the difference in the charts, even though the planets are the same. And if you like it, then we'll do some other world leaders like Netanyahu. We can do Starmer. I don't want to do Trudeau. He's on his way out with his pregnant girlfriend. And maybe we'll do JD Vance. If you want to see more of this, let me know and give me the names of the people you want me to do. All right. Well, thank you very much for spending this time with me, and we'll see you over at the Zelensky reading. Bye for now.